Welcome back
I know.
to Bach.
I know.
This is episode 13, the last of the broadcast episodes. Plus 3 more.
Plus 10 more.
I wish. I would be very interested to see how this story would continue.
I thought you were commenting on my
Oh,
digits. Never mind.
no.
Never mind.
This is the last broadcast episode, and there were 3 more in the can.
I had held up a 3. I thought you were like, it should be 6. And I was like, no. I haven't done the 10 part yet.
No.
Wow.
Yep.
Can I just tell you guys, communication is everything? Example
I disagree.
A.
Communication is not everything, but it is very important. Continue.
What is everything?
Everything. Continue. If you haven't guessed, my playfulness it incarnates itself in being a bit of a dick and smart. That's how that's my playfulness.
Classic dick penis. So,
anyway,
final episode, and none of the questions are going to get answered. I know I said this at Code Geass.
Well,
none of the questions are going to get answered because
the arc looks like it's wrapping up, though.
The train's going to dock the station.
Well, because we have the confrontations.
Dock the station.
Rad Lusso has departed. He's no longer on the train.
Yep.
Along with his darling bride-to-be, Lua. Neither of them are on the train anymore.
Slave, but that's fine.
Well,
we can call
that's
her.
how he described her, as his girlfriend, lover, and fiance.
True, he used those words.
Exactly verbatim.
The court might have different thoughts. Anyway.
You know what's funny is that when you first saw Isaac and Miri, your exact question is like, did he kidnap her and train her to make her his person?
Yeah.
That sounds far more relevant and applicable to Lad and Lua.
She's said maybe 4 lines the entire show.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Why don't you just go and see what's going on? And then stop fighting. Just run away.
So that's interesting, is that we see Vino.
On the back art, looking and talking to Shanae on the street.
And he's near the senator's daughter. Which might have something to do today. Who's this person?
That is somebody we saw in the very first episode for like 5 seconds, hold a spear and cut Isaac's ear. We saw her for a total of 4 seconds in episode 1.
Okay.
If that. Probably less than 4 seconds, maybe 2.
Dallas is over here. Bomb Squad. Robbers. Nessie.
And I'm pretty sure that's Luck. And this is the devil incarnate Misa was talking to.
Yeah. The Gandor brothers.
Yep.
Czechoslovakian. Firo. Misa.
2 legs. Probably Pecco, Randy and Pecco, my guess. Based on just the fact that the size of those thighs.
The size of those thighs
leads. Well, we just have 2. We have 3 legs. We have a pair and a half of legs.
I understand exactly what you said. Can we make that a thing, guys? Check out the size of those thighs. Maybe that's what I'll start counting in season 2 of Code Geass.
Now,
size of those thighs.
I'm going to make a proposition here. I'm going to make a proposition here with some faulty evidence, but I'll make a proposition all the same. Bear with me. I put to you that Vino, Claire Stanfield, the rail tracer, the red misty fog person, is not crazy. He said, "The world is mine, I am God," more or less.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why I put to you the possibility that he is not crazy, based on some possibly misrepresentations of Buddhist thought. I say that because this is something that the American-British philosopher Alan Watts, who's largely known for kind of being a bridge of Eastern philosophy with Western philosophy. And something he had described in one of his many, many lectures is the thought of the idea, he was comparing it with Christianity and Jesus saying he is the Son of God, he is God, and that sort of thing. It says, to say that sort of thing in Hindu culture would have just been an everyday, whatever experience. It was just like, hey, I am God. Like, oh, welcome. You woke up and realized it. And then they continue and go on about their day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you had thoughts on that particular thing, that particular concept or idea. Being that a crazy murderer has basically said, I am God, everything is a dream from my perspective, which is a bit of a weird thing to say.
I mean, it's a philosophy that you can't refute necessarily on a base level of like, yeah, I can't prove to you that I exist outside of your consciousness, and you can't prove that you exist outside of my consciousness within reason. Although I feel like I've talked to people who had good examples of like, no, you can definitely prove that that's not true, but I can't remember them at the moment. It was probably super late night, bitter end coffee shop conversations, which might have just been incoherent in general.
Right. I do agree that I feel that the idea of the world is just a dream I am experiencing is a sort of thing that it's irrefutable, so why bother engaging in it? I would agree with that thought based on my understanding. I would agree, yeah.
Yeah. The refuting, I would say, is that if you are a god, go do something to that person's family in front of them and tell them, great, bring your person back. Like,
so now here's a question of how is it that you define God? Because everyone has a different definition of what that is, even. You know? Because the moment a lot of even religions a lot of time try to speak around the concept of God in the sense of like he is, you know, God, I'm already binding him by saying God is unbounded and incomprehensible. To assign any label to it puts it in a box and limits what God actually is. Does that make sense?
No, I understand what you're saying.
I might not be saying it right, but you understand the gist of what I might be.
Like putting him in a box is different than assigning attributes to try to relate.
Ish.
No, they're different. Putting him in a box is saying like, you're not allowed to do this, blank, whatever this is.
Well, to say, okay, I see, then I'm using the wrong words to describe it because I don't see that is what that is then.
Whereas relating with him, saying, hey, you call yourself Father in Christianity. You say that this is a son of God. You say that we all get to be sons and daughters if we believe. That's a framework for relatability, not a limitation. A limitation is saying, I'm going to sign up for the team to become a Christian, and then if you don't do what I want, or...
I guess both of those examples sound like limitations to me, I guess.
Do you understand? Like, take a step on my side for 1 second for like the relatability.
Okay.
If God is a person, and I'm speaking real world at the moment, if God is a person that wants to relate with people, wants connection.
Okay. That is already making big assumptions.
Yes.
But yes, big assumptions that I would define as having already put him in a box. But go ahead. Continue your point.
So we know that because he offered a book.
Okay.
Like, someone put it to me this way one time, like, Hamlet doesn't know that Shakespeare exists.
Right.
Unless Shakespeare writes himself into the story where Hamlet meets a man named Shakespeare.
Yep. Shakespeare is the god of the world he writes. Yeah.
I don't, I want to pause myself here for a second because I don't think that this is going to get back to your question at all about the character Vino.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be a philosophical conversation, which is fine. But we do have a final episode to watch.
We do have an episode to watch. I thought it would be an interesting thing to put out there.
I wrote it down too. Vino equals the absolute god of the world. And then your proposition to me, just to rein it back in, not that we don't like having philosophical conversations.
Is Vino crazy?
We are trying to stay on topic because it's the last episode that aired. So, is he crazy? At this point, I will say yes.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen anything. The only inexplainable thing at the moment is the incorporeal pull of a cultist to the outside. But the devil character might be able to do that anyway because he was just a shadow, and Vino might be the devil character. I know that
who grew up and ran away to the circus. Yeah, I don't know the actual character's name, but he had the exact same voice as the devil and was in a scene talking to Misa directly after hearing that voice as the Shadow Devil character, as that. And then after Misa leaves, he says, like, don't you feel the presence of Zilliard Quates in New York City or something like that? So I just, like, it's the same voice actor. It's the devil incarnate. That's what that is. That's what I see anyway.
Sure.
I could be completely wrong. That's how I
interpret
two
roles,
it.
right?
Yeah, that's how I interpret it though.
So, I'm gonna say he's crazy right now because he hasn't done anything out of the ordinary at this point.
Right.
Outside of the other Immortals.
Yeah. And this is even like super basic low bar sort of thing, but he did say you're gonna throw yourself off this train without my help, and that's he did.
Based on setting up some actions that required him to fulfill a desire that the character already had.
Do you think that long pause before he actually went and did that though? What do you think that was him being angry? Do you think that it was him weighing, should I do this? What do you think that was? When Lad Russo, the L's and the R's. Lad Russo was standing there while the thing's uncoiling. Why did he stand there and not do anything until basically seconds before she was yanked off?
I think he was trying to figure out if there's a way he could get out of it. A way to he doesn't like being bested ever.
Right, yeah.
This is our first place where he's been bested. So
yeah.
I think he was trying to figure out, can I get her out of this?
Yeah.
No,
what are my options
I don't
to
think
have
that I
this
can.
end without her being killed by another person?
Well, but what are the options that I can have this end the way that I want it to end? Nope. I guess I have to jump.
Yeah, okay.
So, episode 13?
Let's start episode 13. See
Sorry
how
we
it all
didn't finish
comes
that
together.
conversation. I was just trying to
Get us on
We'll
point.
have philosophical talks if you guys want to hear us just have a one-off, let us know in the comments below, because we do that on a pretty regular basis anyway.
Yeah. And we could do it with purpose instead of by accident.
You can. Did you need to clap? You already clapped.
Yeah, I already clapped. Oh, you screwed it up. There we go.
Doesn't seem like that much of a screw up.
You were playing episode 12 by accident.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Comment, like, subscribe. Let us know what shows you'd like us to watch. Do you like this format? Do you like our conversations? If you do, send us some comments. Let us know what you're digging, what you're not digging. If you'd like to buy us a coffee, there's a Patreon link in the description below. Or if you'd like to donate more, we use it to buy animes to watch and then comment on. If you want us to watch something that's not an anime, or comment on Nelly talked about deontology and consequentialism. If you guys really vote on that and want to see I want to hear a conversation just on that, let us know. We're open to that. Anyway, final episode. Here we go.
That big band-esque jazz music. Not really big band. Jazz-esque music.
The very last cherry bomb I got. Thank you, niece. I'll let it blow with love.
If they resist, kill them.
Ennis, you're just joking, right?
So he got massive rope burn on his hand, which destroyed some of his fingers, and then he punched a water tower. So that explains the
arm.
The lack of an arm on his arm.
The thing is, the robbers are still going to give Ness a present.
They forgot to buy her one.
Right. But all the things we saw of her maybe killing them was from the past.
Yes.
So.
I'm not too sure about your foe, but the girl seems all right. I thought he was just common scum, but he was something else altogether. Don't you think so? Now then. I promised that I would kill whoever survived, but I can't tell if he's alive or dead. So what do you think I should do? This guy, Huey, is he your boyfriend? Is he family? He's your father, right? Is it true that he's an immortal?
I'll take that as a yes.
Going on. You think I'm gonna try and hurt your father, don't you? That I'm gonna try to steal the secret of his immortality. You poor thing. He's all you've got, isn't he? I bet he's the only family you've ever known, and you do whatever you have to do to protect him.
Quick little refresher for those of us who missed the last episode.
Well,
Two episodes ago.
He didn't say this though.
No, she did when.
Well then,
Oh.
I have a perfect
Yeah, but this is him having just figured that out and
I know.
intuiting it by her silence.
and then I'll be your father's son. As a member of the family, I'd be obligated to protect him just as much as you. I assure you my intentions toward you are completely serious, and unlike your
I was hoping he was gonna say pure.
I'll never betray you. It may be true that Huey possesses the secrets of immortality, but I have no need of that. The power of immortality can do nothing for me, because you see, there is no way that I am gonna die. I truly believe that to be the case. You can't say anything, but you can believe it, can't you? I am a man who will never die. There's a bridge coming up soon. If you don't want to be caught by the police, you should jump off in the river. Please carve your answer to my proposal on the roof before you go. Bye now. You can throw the knife at me if you want to, but you'll never hit me.
That's a conversation that just happened. Sort of.
More of a monologue, I think.
I know what
Well,
you're
she was
thinking,
answering him,
but when he sets
though
his mind on something,
Ish.
non-verbally.
the tears dry up. When he got that tattoo on his face, he didn't complain about it once.
Then why is he such a crybaby the rest of the time?
Great question.
So are you ready to die, tattoo boy?
The sun's coming up.
You gotta be kidding.
It's actually not a bad strategy, though.
What? What's wrong with it? Impossible!
I was thinking, the times when I'm gonna feel like crying the most are probably when I need to be at my best, right? And so I've decided I'm just gonna cry whenever I feel like crying. I'm gonna let myself cry as much as I want now to get it out of the way. When I face something really tough, all my tears will have dried up long ago.
You take it from here.
What?
Nick, you have to jump off ahead of us and join up with the recovery team.
Handy, isn't it, kid? It's rigged to fire a shot every time I make a fist and punch it into someone. I may have missed you before, kid, but at this range, there's no way you can get out of getting burnt to a crisp. Is there anything you want to say before? What the hell is this? Some kind of monster?
I think it's the rail tracer.
Listen, Isaac, Miria. What? I must thank you. I'm very sorry, but I'm happy I can speak with you, if only once more. If it's not too much, would you mind doing a favor for me? Just please, remember me.
Damn it! Stay back! Get away! Die, damn it!
Just toss the little bombski.
Die! Die!
I don't know whose blood it is.
Burn in hell, you goddamn monster! Burn!
Hey.
Chess!
Chess,
Hey, can you hear me, Chess?
stay with us. I don't understand. Why don't you just devour me?
Holy crap.
The thing is, what about the stuff on his back?
Stupid. What do you think you're gonna do unarmed?
I've got a gun in my heart.
Huh?
What's that? Bad guys, I hope. Ah! What is that?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize he was missing an arm.
I think it's trying to eat what's left of poor little Chess.
No! Over my dead body!
Yeah, I couldn't think of anybody whose
Niece,
body and blood needed to
Mhm.
come back to it outside of
Ah,
Czechoslovakian.
pull that knife out.
Help and stop this bleeding.
No, don't do that. Unless you can.
Yeah, actually, that's probably a bad idea.
it was great. I think we'll be able to sell those things for a fortune.
There are worse ways to think that you're dying.
You know what, niece? Everyone's right. I probably have been crying way too much over nothing in the past. But who cares? For all the extra tears I've shed, I can just tell them that I was crying for you. So now, no matter what you have to face, you won't need to cry because I've already done it for you.
That's how it works.
Jacuzzi!
I knew one day you would betray me. Without fail, every puppet like you I've created turned on me once they acquired a certain level of experience.
Zoop.
I won't kill you quickly. I want you to learn how to suffer. Hey, you!
Is it Mitsubishi?
What did you do to Ennis?
Shoot. I wish I could remember what those are called.
Exactly did you do?
You're not.
You are alive.
Hey, Misa! How come killing us didn't make us dead?
You're the ones who... You drank it. You do not deserve to drink.
We've burned a lot of stuff before, like gloves and warehouses.
But this has gotta be our first human head.
Listen, you have to put your right hand on top of his head.
My right hand.
Now, go!
Ennis, you cannot do this.
No, you don't!
Now try to think. I want to eat.
Ennis.
Interesting person to.
Dump 200 years of, maybe even 1,000 years of life experience into.
Yeah.
What's this? All the red stuff is gone.
Huh? Is Chess all right?
Jacuzzi? Who was that? The rail tracer, I think.
Jacuzzi.
Donnie!
What are you waiting for? A little further. Just reach your hand out a little further.
Oh, Ches. I'm so glad you're not dead.
I'm glad you're not dead too, but how come you're magically not hurt anymore?
Well, there's actually a very simple reason for that, Miria. You see, the rail tracer starts by gobbling up the naughty children first, right?
I'm sure after eating him, it realized that Ches was a good boy, so it came back to return what he had eaten.
That's it. It all makes perfect sense now.
It all makes perfect sense now.
I haven't been a good boy. I lied to you.
Lied?
I said that I was going to New York to see my family. I lied. I'm just going to see someone I know. The truth is, I never even had a family, and I never will. I'm sorry.
Is that right?
Ches, you really are a good boy.
You told us a lie because you didn't want us to worry about you, while all the time you were the one who was the worst off of all.
Ches, you are just an incredibly good, sweet boy.
They don't care about his checkered past. All it takes is one good action, and you're completely redeemed.
Wow, you're a lucky duck. Once Isaac takes charge, you can
I'm just
just
gonna leave that right there.
It's okay. You can go ahead and smile again.
Yeah, how often do they deal with tears?
Hey! Hey there, Ches!
Well, I mean, 2 years ago, when Isaac got shot in the head.
Do something for me, please. It feels like I'm going to die any moment now. I want you to take me the same way you took him.
Why are you talking such nonsense, huh?
I can't. I just have so much I wanted to say to Isaac and Miria. But if you were to devour me, then you'd be able to tell them everything I wanted to say to them.
You want to say something? Well, go ahead. It's really strange. I knew exactly what to do in order to save you.
That's right. By devouring knowledge.
The show.
What?
Worth eating that.
When he was going towards her, I was like, he doesn't have any questions. He knows everything.
My name's
Yeah.
Firo. What's yours?
So,
Why ask? You must have already known my name.
Honestly, I just wanted to hear you say it to me.
I was really hoping that was Isaac and Mira, honestly. There we go.
Miria, you too?
I still want to know one thing.
Are we going to see Carol again?
Happened to Dallas Genoward.
What happened to Dallas Genoward?
In the opening trailer,
Now you
he's
awake?
drowning. So,
What the hell is this? How in the hell are you bastards still alive? Well, according to the way Firo explained it all to us, we've got immortal bodies, like you. But apparently you guys will die of old age, whereas we can live indefinitely. Keeping that in mind, you've only got one choice. It's time for you to accept responsibility for what you've done. We found you a nice new home. You'll all be staying at the bottom of the Hudson River.
Since I can't just break your necks and be done with it, there's really no other good way of finishing you scumbags off. Oh, how generous of you, Keith.
Before you die of old age, you'll have plenty of free time. It's your farewell gift. It'll help you not be so bored.
No. That's awful.
With all due respect, young lady, your brother killed several of our men in this very room 1 year ago. He did so without pity. We will not apologize. At best, we can only offer you our sincerest condolences. But I'm afraid there's nothing more we can do for you.
He's in the Hudson. I assume that means it's okay for me to pick him up.
Of course. But don't you think his family should be able to claim him first?
What exactly are you going to do with my brother?
Some tests. We'll examine him in a certain laboratory I have.
So you promise that you'll bring him back up?
Yes, and then at least he'll be free from the suffering of continuously drowning forever.
Will it be possible for me to visit him?
You have my word.
in between being
Then please
jazzed.
go fetch my brother.
Eve, are you sure about this? That man is single
responsible for killing members of your family. I would like to clear up this matter once and for all. Raymond and Jeffrey Genoward were killed, but I assure you it was not on my orders. This man here acted on his own accord.
Boss. It's you, boss. You came to rescue.
Does that help you understand?
Brother needs to understand. There are miracles. If I help him escape from the hell he's in, he'll have to realize it's true.
Please excuse us, Kendall.
Grand Central.
Ennis, Firo, and Misa.
Who stopped the train?
Go see my fine fellow.
The conductor.
Wonderful.
Vino?
Yeah, he's the only one left alive, I guess, is he?
Oh yeah! Ennis, this boy's name is Ches.
You should take him as your younger brother, Ennis, so you can both have someone. Isn't that a
They
great
gave her a little brother.
young Ches can be our gift to you?
Our gift to you.
Oh my god. That's called child slavery.
Hello, Ches. Hello.
Chesla.
Misa. I came to this city in order to devour this man.
Do you think this means they know each other, Miria?
I guess that's it, Isaac. Ches did say he was coming here to meet somebody he knew. Here he is. Now he's going to put his right hand on my head and devour me. Go ahead. Stick your right hand out toward Misa.
That was his left.
What's he doing? It's a trick. He's pretending to be kind. It's just a trap so he can devour me later.
It's all right, Ches.
Don't believe him.
Hey, cheer up. It's just like before.
It's already set in motion. But Misa, it could never be like it was back then. I've missed you. I've missed you so much, Misa.
Firo,
No, Misa. I understand everything.
no. In that case, I don't have to explain. You, of all people,
Misa? Hey, what's the matter with you, pal?
to have passed this curse on to all of you.
But Misa, it's not like we want to die. I'm sure no one minds living forever one bit. In fact, I feel like jumping up.
Day one.
Ooh, I'm so glad.
I understand everything. He doesn't understand.
As long as they make sure not to say anything, the boss and Mr. Yagu can pass themselves off as long-lived.
What are you saying, Firo?
Does the servant girl, the waitress, also become...
Celebration of the birth of a new
Okay.
couple. Hear, hear. Bottoms up. It's the least we could do to thank them for having us, right?
It's the least we can do.
Make them immortal. It's the least we can do.
Great. I hope that this is right.
That's the guy you were talking about?
But I chose not to stop them. They'll be able to muddle their way through it. That's more or less what I was thinking. Well, no matter.
Mm-hmm. The devil incarnate character.
I will be waiting for you in Manhattan. I will wait for you forever. Please find me. I'll also try to find you.
Manhattan, she says, but that's an awfully big place. Besides, I never even told her my name. Well, anyway, it'll have to wait until I finish my job with the Gandors. But I promise, I'll find you.
That's how episode 1 ended. "17 years ago." I know that look. You already know what you're gonna get.
Oh my god. Stupidest.
This makes a whole lot of children we've saved, Miria.
From those dangerous microwaves.
Yeah. According to the British Sun, or Nature, whichever it was, conversation is almost completely disappearing from families because of microwaves from cell phones. Children just play video games. Husbands are cheating on their wives, and mothers are going off to work.
The family is breaking down.
Yeah. And we're going to do our best to put a stop to it.
I
That's right. Fight the power.
You know, Miria,
What's up, Cat Daddy?
I've got this feeling like we've never even aged. Am I right?
grandiose comment.
I don't know why on earth this has happened to us, but does this mean that we are constantly being born anew?
Refreshed, like every day is our birthday.
Little Mama, we've got to celebrate. Let's call everyone over and have a party.
Incredible music. Happy birthday.
False.
What's false?
It said many birthdays to come.
Oh.
There's no next time episode.
There is.
Trailer at the end.
Oh, yes. Because that they did not get renewed to continue broadcasting, which is why I'm assuming they put that type of ending here.
Mm-hmm.
But they had more in the can, so we'll be able to look at those as well.
We learned a little bit about Czechoslovakia. We know that Vino has the capability of desire because he desires Chansey.
Mm-hmm.
What
What do you think about his proposal?
Jump off the train so the cops don't get you?
Oh no, not that. If I marry you, I'll become your father's son, and I will be obligated to protect him alongside you. That.
I mean, it seems sound from a logical basis. If I were in her position and I didn't have anybody else to help protect him, I probably would pick the most powerful person I found. And if they were just so happen to be proposing to me, and my life's endeavor was to protect my immortal father,
From the desires of those who seek immortality. Which is basically...
seems to reason that would make sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How hard is it to carve a message into the top of a rail car?
Well, she stabbed into the thing and climbed up, which is how she even met Vito in the first place, because nearly lopped his ear off, as he said.
This show should be called On the Tops of Train Cars.
On the tops of train cars. So everyone jumped into the river, which is where we see, either in episode 1 or episode 2, we saw Chance. I mean, now I'll call her Chansey. Chane floating down on top of one of the boxes in the river.
Yep.
I
I wonder if someone's taken this and put it in order. That'd be an interesting...
That could be interesting. There's a part of me that wonders if it would be uninteresting or interesting, you know?
I think you'd have a lot of questions until you were present day, and then present day would unravel pretty quickly.
Right. Well, if you did it in the order of what exists, they'd start with a re-edited 1711, and then
Yeah.
I mean, I think it would be very straightforward to make sense.
Yeah. It would have less intrigue, and it
Mhm.
would not have the same appeal of. They didn't really give me a lot, but they showed me a lot of things.
Yeah.
Which is what this show did.
What I think this show is it's a very mundane story told in a very grandiose and interesting way.
Grandiose, not a word I'd use to describe the show.
No?
The only word I'd use to describe the show.
Yeah. I think this is an interesting case for storytelling, narration, and medium things. Like the only way I can think of describing it is that the way the story is told feels very much like it could have been taken straight from a novel, unedited.
Sure, yeah,
That-
because they focused on the
jumps,
action.
Yeah, well, and the jumps and transitions happen on almost thematic things. Like there are some where that's not the case. It's just like, okay, now let's get back to the other story. But it's still, it flows in a way that I think is actually pretty understandable. Yeah.
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 It was good. I enjoyed it. It's a little bit over the top.
Do you understand everything?
Oh yeah, yeah. No questions in my mind about absolutely any characters anywhere in the story. Definitely love the follow up with Carol and Saint Germain of the Assassins, so and so episode 1 narrator. Yeah, loved the follow up from them in this last episode. That was great.
So I don't want to say what's going to happen in the other 3 episodes.
Good. Don't.
But I will say things that aren't being told, and that is, I thought was interesting that Bartoli Runerat, or whatever his name is, had said that he has a laboratory.
Yep.
For doing testing experiments on Dallas Genoward, but we've seen, I don't know if it's necessarily he has it or if it's the senator is part of the connection with that, because we saw him have a meeting with him at some point.
Right.
And so again, this kind of circles back to the senator and his family.
Well, the
senator himself and his desire for anything that, as what was it? Since when did he, Manfred Barium, care about his family?
Yep.
Yeah.
It seems almost like a trope that when you have a train story that people jump off at some point.
Well, yeah, because I mean that's pretty much the only way to get off without stopping the train is you have to jump off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And usually when there's a train story, this one didn't do it so much, but there's been a lot of train stories have the where you're coming from and where you're going as things to kind of put a stake in some stakes. That made sense. This one, not so much. I mean, like we know they're leaving Chicago and they're heading to New York, but it takes place overnight, and it's the time limit isn't really pushed a lot in the story like it is in other train stories.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, mostly because it just got so hectic, I would say. The tension of what the Lemurays were trying to do wasn't maybe... I feel like that could have had a lot more weight into it, if that makes sense. Like them as antagonists, it kind of just turned into a giant ruckus.
It was
Baccano, as the name, a noise, cacophonous noise of...
Is that what the word Baccano means?
Yeah, I think it means a cacophonous noise. Yeah.
A cacophony of opinions.
Which it's interesting that Baccano, I think that is the actual translation of it from Italian, but I also think it's interesting if you think about the way Japanese also kind of abbreviate a lot of their words and short things. Baka, idiot, no, being a short for noise. There's also that kind of a thought, because in Japanese, another example I would think of, that an example of them doing this would be for PC, for personal computer. They don't say PC or personal computer, they say Pusicon. For personal and computer, yeah, so they shorten it like that. And so I'm wondering if there's also like a play on words there that it literally means this in Italian, but also fits in with the idiot sound kind of thing. And I don't know, probably total nonsense, but I think it's an interesting thing for me to think about.
Yeah. I understand why you wanted me to watch this now, though.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about it a little bit? Give him a little teaser for him. Some people ask
Well,
about it.
we could mention it, I suppose. It's not in a state that I want to do details, though, but we're writing a story, and it involves a train.
Wow.
There you go.
Way to keep it sharp.
That's one of the many, many things that we do in our time that's not this.
Yeah, people are like, what do you guys do for fun? And we kind of just look at them and we're like, work? And they're like, no, you got to do something for fun. And we're like,
This
we
is why it's
build
like,
fantasy worlds.
what do you do for fun? We make things. That is about
We create.
we create.
We create fantasy worlds. Steampunk fantasy world.
Oh. I wouldn't limit myself to say I just create fantasy worlds. I create. That's what I do for fun.
One of the key things that we work on is that. And now we're doing this, which is great. But we create, but we put 7 years into that.
Yes.
You're still embarrassed.
No, I'm having fun right now. And I love the way that how convincingly I said that too.
Future Kristopher. When you're editing this, you're ridiculous. Just like Isaac and Mira.
I'm still amused by your dislike of them. I honestly think your dislike of them is it's one hating one's own kind right there. I think that might be involved in there a little bit.
I don't.
How many wheels were in this episode?
None.
Yeah,
I think I needed
Baccano's a what? I don't know if we were
Wheel free should be.
They've
on
managed
here.
to have They've managed to have
Wheel
a story on a train without needing to show any of the wheels of the train.
And they don't even. Half the story takes place outside the train.
Well, yeah. There's
on the train.
There's 2.5, 3 storylines going on. The Dallas Genoward storyline is kind of the him in the 1930s, and then the aftermath of Eve in 32.
Right.
So that's kind of one story, and then there's the how Firo became immortal story.
Yep.
And there's Jacuzzi on the train story.
Yep.
I'm really curious, but not curious enough to buy them and read them. I'm really curious how the novels handled these, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
What'd you guys think? Congratulations on making it through the aired episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like this format where you get to watch a show with us? Did you prefer the highlight format, which was the previous format with Code Geass? Do you know of another format that you'd like us to check out? Comment below. Let us know what you think. Subscribe. Share this with a friend who will understand that I'm funny. And what? Catch you later.